All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Danny Show. I'm your host, Daniel Cody, giving you commentary and reviews on all things wrestling. Before I get started, I want to give a special shout out to the C Nation Dog for your subscription. Thank you so much for subscribing. Special shout out to you. For those of you who are new, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified on all things from the show. Also, I want to make a couple of special announcements. One, if you haven't already, be sure to check out my thoughts on Bray Wyatt's release, and you can find my opinions. Some of you may actually share what I feel when I speak on Bray Wyatt's release, which they said was for budget cuts. So that's one. Secondly, this is a guarantee to my knowledge. August 15th, Sunday, 2021, I will be giving a review on SummerSlam. Let me make sure I have that date correct. I believe it is. Yes, August 15th. I will be doing a on this date review of SummerSlam 2004, and as requested by you, C Nation Dog, and suggested, I will acknowledge that main event between Randy Orton and the greatest technical wrestler, Chris Benoit. So, with that being said, let's get on with today's review of Friday Night Smackdown. An interesting show, but there were a couple of smaller two-star things that happened. Let's start with Apollo Crews versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, I'll be honest, for humorous sake, I will say that I almost thought those lions, that was a real statue. I almost thought those were real statues in the arena. I almost did. But those were camera effects for Apollo Crews' entrance. Just like the snake statues are camera effects that we saw at WrestleMania 35 and Randy Orton's match against AJ Styles. But it was a brief match in which, due to outside interferences of Commander Aziz, Shinsuke won by disqualification. And who knows, that might mean that those two will get it on at SummerSlam or next week. We got to see what happens. Also, we have Tamina Snuka versus Tegan Knox, accompanied on the tank by Shotzi Blackheart. Two things I want to make very clear. First of all, I'm glad they kept the tank. When I made a comment on SmackDown's video, I said how this can make SmackDown great and very interesting with two former NXT women coming to SmackDown in Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart. One of the greatest concerns was that we were hopeful that WWE writers would not take the tank from their entrance. Thankfully, they didn't, and they used it well. Thankfully, a couple of weeks ago, no, that was last week, they shot Baron Corbin in the crown jewels, which means he can't perform, which means, in the words of John Cena, I was trying to whistle like Cena did. I can't whistle, but it was worth a try. But either way, at least they kept the tank and all. But the match was brief. Of course, as usual, we saw as we do every week, the roll up. And I have to be honest, I'm glad to see the tank and everyone in action, but Tegan could have been used a lot better tonight, in my personal opinion. I don't think Shotzi and Tegan are being used to the best, but hopefully as time progresses, they will be used like they were used in NXT. And that's always been a concern of wrestling fans like myself, is that when wrestlers come to Raw or SmackDown, they don't get treated with the highest use and highest quality of they were in NXT. So let's just hope that as time progresses, Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart continue to be used for the greater good. Who knows? Even getting a tag team title shot against Natalya, who is out because of injury for a couple of weeks. And hopefully Shotzi and them get title shot at some point, because we just want to see them get used better. Don't come to Raw and SmackDown and then use them poorly. That's just all I'm saying. Also, moving on, Edge and Edge and Seth Rollins will happen at SummerSlam. Due to what happened last week with Seth Rollins' attack during the commercial break, Edge and Seth will face off at SummerSlam, and hopefully SummerSlam will not be canceled. And I gotta give Edge credit for giving the fans fist bumps. And I gotta say this, guys, we gotta be careful. We gotta take care of our country. We gotta take care of each other so that we can be able to go to great events, because things are getting a little bit risky, and I don't want us to go to the Thunderdome too fast. If maybe, I don't know. I just don't know. But I really hope that we get to have a good crowd participation at SummerSlam on August 21st in Las Vegas. I really hope that. I want to see crowd participation. So let's get vaccinated. Let's take care of ourselves. Do what you got to do, folks. Let's just be careful and stay safe, because I don't want to go back to the Thunderdome era too quickly. If we have to do so for safety, I understand, but at least let us have a crowd participation for SummerSlam this year. Let's just hope and pray for the best. But moving on, Edge and Busy Suit Seth Rollins will face off at SummerSlam. And it is a dream match that we thought wouldn't happen, but it's going to happen, thankfully. And ironically, Edge cut a great promo. Both of those guys were great. But there's an interesting point where Edge said that Seth, when he sees Seth, with the exception of his shiny, busy colored suits, he sees himself when he looks at Seth Rollins, during his heelish rated R days as Edge, is what Edge is alluding to. So that match is going to be amazing to watch. I can't wait to see it. SummerSlam is shaping up to be an amazing match card, making it an amazing event. Like I said, I just hope it doesn't get canceled or the fans not be able to show up when we go back to the Thunderdome too quickly. So let's just hope for the best. Either way, moving on, we have that Big E Langston was stalking Paul Heyman, and after Paul Heyman did an interview with the lovely Kayla Braxton, after Paul was done, he turned around, and standing behind him was Big E Langston, looking like Michael Jackson at the end of the music video Thriller, which I thought was absolutely funny, which is a message being sent that Big E is the current Money in the Bank contract holder, meaning that at any given time, he can cash it in on Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar. You never know. Bobby Lashley. Brock Lesnar looks like Mordecai and is apparently working at a slaughterhouse. And Mordecai wants his look back. But either way, Bobby Lashley or Roman Reigns, watch their backs. But let's get down to some more serious business. Earlier tonight, three lovely ladies, Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, who looks like she came out of the Olympics, the strongest, as she would say rather. And then you have Zelina Vega coming out. It was a triple threat promo. Well, how do I say it? I'm sorry. It started off with Sasha Banks coming out and explaining her actions. Then Bianca comes out, and before it could get a face-to-face confrontation, Sasha steps out, stands on top of the announce table, giving room for Vega to come out and have her face-to-face with Bianca. And of course, obviously, I will say this in humor, both of those ladies looked great tonight. And judging by their boots, they did not come to fight at the moment. But after that triple threat confrontation, it was resolved with Bianca versus Vega that night. We thought it was going to be for the championship, but such was not to be. But it was still a great match. Both women, Bianca and Vega, gave it their all. And there was a moment where I thought Bianca Belair was going to hoist Vega up and carry her up the stairs like she did Sasha at WrestleMania. However, Sasha came and interrupted the match, causing a distraction, leaving Vega to go for her Hurricanrana, and it went on commercial break and came back. She was nowhere to be found, Sasha I'm speaking of. But it was still a great match, and it ended with the KOD, Kiss of Death, and Bianca's the winner, and she will go on to SummerSlam to face Sasha Banks in their second match this year. And their first match was good, and I can't wait to see that one. I hope to see her hoist Sasha and carry her up the stairs again. That is a testament of strength. Are you I gotta ask y'all something. Was Bianca in any Olympics? Because she is one of the strongest. That's why she called herself the EST. But man, was she a part of the Olympics at one year? Because she looks like a great Olympic player. She's very strong, kind of like me. But either way, moving on. That match is settled. We have Baron Sheepish Corbin. I said Corbin. Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor comes out with an entrance. Baron Corbin comes out looking sheepish, like a young man who just got a spanking from his mama and went out to the ring with the same clothes on and the same spaghetti stained shirt. Now, I believe that they colored it, but they changed his clothes so he wouldn't wear the same thing every week, because if he did, then it would look like he hadn't washed up. Now imagine that, Corbin not washing up in 3 weeks. All of the Tampa arena would have been able to smell that. The whole city of Tampa would have been able to smell it. Tom Brady would have smelled it, and it would have smelled horrible. But Finn Balor made very short work of Baron Corbin, accepting no apologies, finishing him off with a coup de grace. 1, 2, 3, it's over. But of course, we couldn't end the show yet because Finn Balor has a bone to pick with Cena, who is not in the arena. However, Roman Reigns comes out to confront Finn Balor. And while he's confronting Finn Balor, chants go off of Cena, which is something I've never heard before. Whoever thought that years from now, people would be chanting for Cena and Cena was not even in the arena? Because for years we've got anti-Cena fans. If you watch Peacock and you watch pay-per-views from the past, like WrestleMania or SummerSlam, you will notice that in the front rows of those events is that anti-Cena fan with the spiked hair, black hair. However, this is crazy because they are chanting for Cena, who is 93% in Rotten Tomatoes as one of the top movies with Suicide Squad 2. And congratulations, because both Rock and Cena have the top movies right now besides Fast 9. So that is awesome. Also, WWE was in Tampa tonight, but not in the Thunderdome, home of WrestleMania and the Thunderdome. But except this time we're in front of a crowd, and hopefully we'll be in front of a crowd at SummerSlam. Please don't cancel SummerSlam, please. But either way, it was a confrontation that saw the Usos interrupt and attack Finn Balor, which led to a triple team from the Usos and Roman. And I honestly thought Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, who lost to Jey Uso earlier that night, would come out and make the save, but it was not to be, unfortunately. And yes, Rey Mysterio, I have to point out that Rey Mysterio was right. Dominic should not have made that challenge tonight. And now the momentum is on the Usos' corners. But hey, rookies make rookie mistakes, and we all fall down and we get back up and we become better people. But nonetheless, the Usos and the Bloodline destroy Finn Balor to end the show. But speaking of chants, I want to address something before I leave. I got 1 more minute left. I'm going to give myself 1 more minute. Before I go, I want to address something that Ronda Rousey said. For those of you who follow social media, and be sure to check out my previous video about my thoughts on Bray Wyatt's release, Ronda Rousey responded to the media and to thoughts of Bray Wyatt's being released. And the reason I want to bring this up is because Finn Balor and Roman were having a face-to-face and fans were chanting Cena, which is ironic because that reminded me of what Ronda was talking about on social media. She said that the same fans who said we want Wyatt last week were the same fans that were saying we want beach balls. Now, I don't remember fans chanting beach balls when Bray Wyatt was in action. Now, I do remember seeing Stone Cold Steve Austin kick a beach ball up into the rafters in a 1998 match when he teamed up with The Undertaker to face the New Age Outlaws successfully. Well, it wasn't really successful because there was a bunch of interferences. But, however, my point is, I don't remember hearing beach ball chants. But Ronda took to social media saying, if you guys weren't chanting for beach balls during a match with Bray Wyatt, none of this would have happened. So, I don't remember that, but nonetheless, be sure to check out that previous video of Bray Wyatt and my thoughts on his release. And that's all the time I have for you today. We will be back. I should be doing a review from the past on another SummerSlam sometime soon. But in case I don't remember, August 15th, I will be talking about SummerSlam 2004. And I'm going to acknowledge the main event. So that's all the time I got for you today. Peace.